For those of us of a Western mindset, we tend to think religion is either monotheistic, meaning worships only one God, or polytheistic, meaning worships more than one God. Anything that doesn't fit neatly into these two terms is rather confusing or puzzling to the Western paradigm. However, Hinduism does just this. It steps out of these parameters and can be seen as both monotheistic and polytheistic all at the same time. To explain, Hindus revere many gods, like Brahma, Shiva, and Vishnu. Despite this reverence of several deities, Hinduism still has a monotheistic bent. Like I said, this can be downright confusing, so listen carefully as we put the pieces together. Although there are many different Hindu deities, Hindus believe all of these deities are manifestations of one divine entity known as Brahman. With this, Hindus hold to the concept that all reality is unified under one sacred or divine entity. Known as Brahman, this sacred yet rather vague divinity is at the cornerstone of Hinduism. To a Hindu, all of reality, which includes all their gods, is part of this unified Brahman. To try to state it simply, all of reality is part of the whole. This central belief in the divine Brahman is what leads some to consider Hinduism monotheistic. Under this blanket of Brahman, Hindus see this divine entity broken down into a sort of triad of three main gods. These three main Hindu deities, known as the Trimurta, are Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. As we study the attributes of these three, keep in mind that they are all part of a whole. Let's start with the first god, known as Brahma. Like other parts of the Hindu faith, this name is confusing since it sounds so much like Brahman. Fortunately for us, Brahma's role in Hinduism gives us a clue as to why his name might sound so much like Brahman. To explain, Brahma is considered the creator god. It was he who created the universe and its creatures. Again, being very un-Western, Brahma is depicted with 4 heads and 4 arms. It is from these 4 heads that some believe Hinduism's sacred texts, known as the Vedas, were given. In order to remember his role as creator, let's keep in mind that Brahma sounds very much like Brahman, which denotes all of reality and creation. Next in the Hindu Trimurta of gods is Vishnu. Vishnu is the god who preserves the creation. Yes, Brahma may set it in motion, but Vishnu keeps it humming. Whenever the precarious balance between good and evil is at stake, Vishnu returns to earth to restore order. Being rather versatile, Vishnu can incarnate himself to fit the present need. One of the most famous of Vishnu's incarnations is the popular Krishna. To many Hindus, his role as preserver and his ability to reincarnate makes him the greatest of all gods. To help him stick, we'll call him the very valuable and versatile Vishnu. This very valuable Vishnu appears with blue skin, a human body, and 4 arms. His arms hold a conch, a discus, a lotus flower, and a mace, which is a very heavy staff or club. The last of the 3 deities is Shiva the Destroyer. To Hindus, Shiva holds the job of destroying the imperfections of the world. However, this destruction is not without purpose. Although the blue-headed Shiva can be full of careless passion and extreme emotion, he destroys the imperfect things of the world in order to make way for perfection. This earns him the contradicting roles of good and evil. His actions often bring pain and suffering, but they are meant for the greater good of the universe. Sometimes seeming as a savage, and sometimes a saint, we'll remember this destroyer as Shiva the Savage Saint. At the cornerstone of the Hindu faith is the belief that all reality is unified under one sacred or divine entity. Known as Brahman, this sacred yet rather vague divinity is represented in many different Hindu gods. The 3 most important are Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. Being the creator god, Brahma's name sounds very familiar to the divine entity known as Brahman. It is Brahma who brought all things into being. Known as the preserver, the second of the important triad of gods is Vishnu. It is his job to maintain the precious balance of power between good and evil. Able to incarnate himself and holding 4 objects, Vishnu is very versatile and valuable to the Hindu people. The last of the mighty triad is Shiva. Known as the Destroyer, this rather human yet blue-looking god destroys the imperfections of the world. Since his actions can bring great pain yet healing, we'll remember him as our savage saint.